Good morning. Good morning, and thank you so much for being here. I am Anna Harvey, and I am the Director of the Department of Small and Local Business Development, and I'm really, really thrilled to have you here. Welcome to our wonderful facilities. This is where we think about small businesses, we breathe about small businesses, and we love our small businesses. So welcome again. And it is, of course, an honor to have Mayor Bowser here for the first time. As well as Councilmember Mary Cheh and Councilmember LaRuby May. Welcome. I think most of us know that DSLBD's mission is to support the development, economic growth, and retention of district-based businesses. And our commercial corridors are really the lifelines that bring prosperity to all of our 8 wards. And I am delighted to see that our Main Street program has played a vital role in fostering the growth and development of those corridors. And that is why we're here today. We're here to welcome the newest additions to our DC Main Street programs, the Congress Heights, Tenleytown, and Van Ness Main Streets. I am thrilled and I'm confident that you, the 3 of you, will lift those neighborhoods to the heights where they deserve. They deserve a lot of support, and then perhaps in a year, we're going to have a very buzzing corridor with restaurants and stores and people that will just come and just keep feeding those tax revenues that we need. Exactly, in jobs. Fair shots for everybody, yes. So at this time, I really would like to start the program and start, welcoming each one of the main streets. And I'm going to start by welcoming to the podium the board chair of Destination Congress Heights, Ms. Monica Ray.
Good morning. I stand before you this morning full of excitement and anticipation about the future of Congress Heights commercial corridors. Special thanks to Mayor Bowser, my great Councilmember LaRuby May, Director Harvey for their unwavering support of Congress Heights. We are fortunate to have an enthusiastic team of staff and volunteers, eager businesses ready for transformation, exciting new projects contemplated for our corridor, and loads of potential waiting for just the right spark. The Main Street movement has transformed the way communities think about revitalization of their historic downtowns and neighborhood commercial districts, and helped put historic preservation back into community revitalization conversation. Main streets are the traditional center for social, cultural, and economic activity for their communities. They are the big stage, the core of our communities. Our main streets tell us who we are and who we were, and how the past has shaped us. We do not go to bland suburbs or enclosed shopping malls to learn about our past, explore our culture, or discover our identity. Our main streets are the places of shared memory, where the entire community still comes together to live, work, and play. We welcome you to Destination Congress Heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. I really would like to welcome now the board chair of Tenleytown Main Streets, Ms. Ann Wallace.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I, too, want to thank the mayor and our wonderful Mary Cheh, who sponsored these 2 new main streets in Ward 3. When I moved to Tenleytown just 3 years ago, I instantly loved the neighborhood. I'm a big city girl, grew up in Manhattan. And people always think of big cities as being kind of faceless and not very friendly. But I knew the minute I moved to Tenleytown how strong and vital that neighborhood was and how much more vital and exciting and prosperous it could be. Because we are blessed with a number of just the best stores in the city and some of the best people in the city, people who come out and work and volunteer and give. And so when we found out that there was an opportunity to get this grant, why, people just flocked to be part of the effort, and we were blessed with finding an excellent executive director, Lee Catherine Miles, who has been active in the community for years, and a wonderful board of directors, some of whom are here today. So I'm just looking forward to another 5 years, 10 years, however long in Tenleytown, watching this neighborhood grow, watching the economic development, watching us bring new businesses to town, creating the density, the excitement that makes a city real and that makes a city ever more prosperous, creating jobs and tax revenue for the city. So again, thank you all for this opportunity, and I hope you'll come to our first event in Tenleytown, which is a cleanup day on April 23rd. We're going to clean up that avenue, and we've got lots of volunteers already, so please join us on Earth Day. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you, Anne. Please now help me welcome the board chair of Van Ness Main Street, Ms. Mary Beth Ray.
Good morning. I'd like to start by thanking our board members. If you're a Van Ness board member, can you raise your hand? Great. Thanks. You guys are terrific. In recent years, many people associated Van Ness with traffic jams and monolithic architecture. We've lost our Office Depot, Pier 1 Imports, Intelsat, Charlie Chang's, and now Fannie Mae is moving out. But thanks to Mayor Bowser, Commissioner Che, Director Harvey. So what did I say? I'm sorry, council member. I should be promoting you, not demoting you. Council member Che, DSLBD, the Office of Planning, and our hardworking executive director, Teresa Cameron, our board and our community, and the Main Street vision. We're now on the road to revitalization. At our core, Van Ness is about diversity. Small businesses like Acacia Bistro, Bread First, and Calvert Woodley. Larger local businesses like Pollinger and BF Saul. Institutions like UDC and WAMU. Apartment dwellers and residences in single-family homes in Forest Hills. Over 25 embassies from Austria to China to Nigeria. And neighbors who are Black, white, Hispanic, and Asian. We have a rich heritage supporting the arts. UDC's Performing Arts Center and Jazz Alive program, Hillwood Museum, the Levine School of Music, and numerous artists and musicians. Van Ness Main Street and your investment allow us to build on that diversity of stakeholders and that heritage of the arts to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. To activate our street with performances, public art, and a more beautiful and sustainable landscape. To revive our farmers market, to help make Van Ness a cultural destination that helps jumpstart our restaurants and to attract small local businesses. Already, we're starting to see improvements. The beautiful new UDC Student Center, Park Van Ness, and new retail like Svolina and Soapstone Market. Thanks to this initiative, Van Ness will become a thriving, walkable, sustainable, beautiful Main Street. Our existing businesses will thrive, and new businesses will begin to ask, why aren't we in Van Ness yet?
Good question.
Thank you.
Thank you. As you can see, two of the programs that Mayor Bowser is going to designate today, Tenleytown and Van Ness, are in Ward 3. And we are honored to have Ward 3 Councilmember Mary Che to offer some remarks.
Good morning, everybody. I'm really pleased to be here as Mayor Bowser officially designates both Tenleytown and Van Ness Main Streets and Congress Heights. Yes, of course.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
You know, people often see government and business sort of as at odds with one another, but in truth, and more often than not, our goals align, and they align quite well. And when we work together, we know this, we can achieve the kind of vibrancy and economic health that's fundamental to any successful community. One of the most successful collaborations has been the DC Main Streets program, which I think is one of the most wonderful in the District of Columbia. It was devised as a way to revitalize and maintain traditional retail corridors, and they're a testament to leveraging just a little bit of capital and a whole lot of effort and goodwill and cooperation. The older main streets in D.C. have seen tremendous results by giving small grants, it's not so much, and that they've been then matched by the private sector and fundraising of the community, including the businesses who directly benefit from this and their hard work, and the work of the proprietors, the volunteers, the neighbors. The Taste of Eighth, put on by the Barracks Row Main Street, is just one example of a Main Street program shining a spotlight on wonderful offerings of a neighborhood that now hosts what Bon Appetit has called the best new restaurants in the country. It's that type of programming and that type of result that's the direct outgrowth of the Main Streets program. I can't tell you how wonderful and energetic it feels when we have all of these groups working together. Now think about it. You know, we talk win-win. Well, this is win-win-win-win-win-win-win because what we have is we have the businesses, the government, and even the agencies of the government. They're collaborating and cooperating because they're all coming together. Then we have the community. And then we have the goodwill, you know, of people who will come and shop and spend their money along these main streets. And I'm thrilled to have these two additional ones in Ward 3, of course, Tenleytown and Van Ness. They've historically been areas that have fostered economic activity, strong commercial activity, but they will benefit from this boost that they get. You know, as we have revitalized areas around the district, some other districts, you know, they to be honest, haven't kept pace. They get a little stale. They get a little tired. And what we need is just that spark. I think somebody used that word earlier. Just that spark of the agencies coming together, a grant coming together, the community and the businesses coming together to make that work. And all of it will benefit from the branding, the collaboration, and the community focus that are the hallmarks of a Main Street program. The organizations that we've put in place, the team that we've put in place, is absolutely fabulous, and I look forward with great enthusiasm to what they will do in the future. But in the meantime, I want to thank our wonderful mayor, Mayor Bowser, for her help in getting these designations in place and getting these programs up and running. Thank you very much. And thanks to all of you for the win-win-win-win-win-win-win.
Thank you, Councilmember Che. I want to just pause for a second, and you just mentioned this wonderful program. I want to acknowledge and really recognize the team, the commercial revitalization team of the SLBD that runs the Main Street program. Can you please raise your hand so we can see you? There's Lauren. Thank you. You would think that it's about 25, but it's only 4 of them running it. And of course, we have one more Main Street that we need to designate this morning. And for those purposes, the biggest supporter of the Great Ward 8, Ms. LaRuby May.
So good morning. And so I know some of you who saw me giggling over on the side thought that it was because Councilmember Che said something funny. But she said something very serious that it just lightened my heart about how much she's going to support making sure that Ward 8 gets another Main Street and how she's going to be voting to support that. That puts a smile on all of our faces. So she said she got 2 in Ward 3 and 1 in Ward 8 today. And I said, Councilmember, we can do better. But let me thank Mayor Bowser for her leadership and her commitment to this program, to Director Harvey and to the team, to Commissioner Shields, an ANC HC commissioner who's been working hard and very dedicated to the work of our community. It is a great thing for me today to be here to celebrate the Destination Congress Heights, the relaunching of a Main Street in the Congress Heights community. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate that. Congress Heights is the destination point for the city. We all know about many of the commitments that this mayor has made in the entertainment sports arena, phase one with housing and commercial space. And so making sure that we have that organization that brings people together to do the things to make sure that some of the legacies in Congress Heights continue. Many of you may not know that one of the longest running parades in the city is the Congress Heights Day Parade, which is happening the first Saturday in May. You should definitely stop by. But making sure that those things, as Ms. Ray talked about, that making sure that we don't forget our past, bringing that together with the future while we're moving forward with our businesses, making sure that they have the support that they need to stay into the community. I'm very excited to be here. Also excited to know that the SEED legislation, the Social Equity Empowers Dreams legislation that I was able to introduce continues to support efforts like the Main Street and making sure that we're looking at keeping our commercial and residential areas clean. Inside, right? We're advocating for Ward 8 every time we get an opportunity, right? That's what we do. So again, I look forward to working with Destination Congress Heights and making sure that they are reaching in all the 4 points approach that are part of the Main Streets program. I'm eager to start this progress, and we look forward to the prosperity that will happen through Destination Congress Heights. Thank you.
I would like to quickly acknowledge also the presence of Ward 7 Business Partnership, one of our older Main Streets. Thank you. So now my agency would not be able to support the small businesses in the district and all the great things that we have been doing without the unwavering support of Mayor Bowser. She just gets it. She really gets it. And as a former entrepreneur myself and a staunch supporter and advocate for small businesses, I'm very, very, very proud to serve under Mayor Bowser. So please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mayor Bowser.
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's hear it for Main Streets, D.C. I am honored to be here with Councilmember May and Councilmember Che. It even rhymes. Ward 3, Ward 8, and Miss Ray. So it's all these folks over here involved with Main Streets. And it's exciting to have 3 new Main Streets in the District of Columbia as well. So as I was thinking of each of these areas, I know them all very well. And in their own ways, they need different things. They need a little boost or a little spark, as you say, but they need a champion. What happens with these corridors that are thriving have a champion. And sometimes that champion is the ANC commissioner, the council member, somebody in the community, but somebody who wakes up every day and thinks about how to make that commercial corridor better. Making sure that it's clean, making sure that all the street lights work, making sure that there's an annual schedule of events, making sure that the retailers who come there are the right mix for the neighborhood and community, making sure that the government does what it's supposed to do, and attract and let everybody know what they're doing. That's what Main Streets are. Main Streets are the champion for the corridor. And I'm pleased, that's what they are, it's a champion. Now, these Main Streets have something else in common. They're all on top of metro stations. And so we have the opportunity to work with our partners at Metro to make sure that we are attracting visitors from all points of the city, including the National Mall, that people that come to visit Washington know what's happening in our neighborhoods. In the case of the new Ward 3 Main Streets, they were along the part of the Metro that, started first. And so we have some particular partnerships. And when I say partnerships, sometimes I mean we have to leverage the investments we make in Metro to help our Main Street. And so I hope that we're thinking about those things as well. So I am really very happy that we have the opportunity to designate these new Main Streets. The other ability that the Main Streets have, because you know how Main Street started, right? Everybody knows that? As a seed program. That means right? Am I right, Director? Is it still that way? Kana? Okay. So to all the new directors and boards, board members, raise your hand. So you know what a seed program means. That means that all the members of the board, in addition to having these great new positions and working with your fabulous staff, you get to go out in the big private world and say, I'm doing all of this with my seed grant, and we're going to raise the money to do the rest of what we have to do. The idea about Main Streets is there are other seeds planted later in other neighborhoods. And so we keep on investing in Main Streets, which is really tremendous. The council has my budget now, and we continue. Yeah, that's good, council members. We continue to, and what the council members were back here giggling about, I should say, laughing about or commenting on, was how we could do more with more, and sometimes more with the same. And so I am always looking to balance. This is my second budget now, and balancing the very worthwhile priorities of this government isn't always easy. But rest assured, this Main Street initiative works. And it's the kind of thing that if you spend $1, you might get $5 back. And that's the idea behind Main Streets. And so I am looking forward to visiting everybody in Van Ness, in Tinleytown, and in Congress Heights, and telling the story about how we should get people out of the downtown and into the neighborhoods to support these great places. Congratulations, everybody. Okay. So I am presenting each of the new designated Main Streets the following designation, and I hope that you will display it proudly. The first is presented to Destination Congress Heights. Please join me. And it says, congratulations as a full member of the DC Main Streets program to lead a sustainable, community-driven revitalization program that promotes economic development, strengthens the neighborhood, and improves the quality of life for residents. Congratulations. Ms. May? Director, council member, please.
We like you in
Yes.
You can come
Okay. All 8 wards.
That's right.
All 1-8.
Commissioner, please.
Commissioner Shields.
Thank you.
All right.
Congratulations.
So you got to join mine.
Tinleytown, Main Streets. Let me present this certificate of designation also for being a full member of the DC Main Streets program and your commitment to this great corridor in Washington, D.C. Congratulations. Okay, good. Got it.
Airbrush that?
Van Ness, Main Streets. And may I also present this certificate designating you as a full member of the DC Main Streets program and for your wonderful leadership in this great Ward 3 community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Come and visit. I will.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I just have a few words just to remind you of how vital and incredibly important all these small businesses are to the wealth and the health and the happiness of our city. So thank you so much for being here. We look forward to seeing you in a year and see how much you've grown and how many businesses you have sprouted out of the ground. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Councilmember Che, Councilmember May, and Mayor Bowser for coming. And we look forward to seeing you very soon. Thank you.